Yeah, so
here we go.
McEnroe is Barney Douglas's very deliberately dramatic documentary about the tennis player, I would say formerly famously troubled tennis player, who earned the nickname Super Brat in the 70s and whose achievements and temperament have previously been addressed in. There was a 2017 film, Borg versus McEnroe, Borg McEnroe as it was sometimes called, in which he was played by Shia LaBeouf. And then the 2018 non-fiction work In the Realm of Perfection. So this doc basically has him walking through the streets of New York, his hometown, crepuscular streets, like a kind of detective or the anti-hero of a modern neo-noir. He receives phone calls in phone boxes that are ringing.
It's a bit weird, that bit.
And with that bit was like, we've got somebody on the phone, how are we going to dramatise that? And there are also snippets of life interviews. I think what you're meant to get is the sense that he is prowling through his past. He is sifting through his past, because you also see a more straightforward interview with him in which, as he is now, he's looking back on his past. We also get interviews from the likes of Bjorn Borg, whose sudden retirement from the game really seems to have kind of wounded him in the past, and the great Billie Jean King. Here is a clip from McEnroe.
You could not be aware of John McEnroe. They'd always show a clip on the news of him like throwing his racket or yelling or something. So you either loved him or hated him.
New York, it's where I'm from. But it's also who I am.
Wimbledon is a titled lady giving you high tea on a well-manicured lawn. The American Championship is Dolly Parton giving you a hot dog and soda out by the playground. They're different, and they should be.
The fans are crazy.
I'm telling you right now, you play or it's a game. You have 30 seconds.
If you say something, I kill you.
And that's Ilie Nastase in a match in New York against John McEnroe.
I do like that comparison about, one of them is being given tea and the other is Dolly Parton. So we learn a lot about McEnroe's life, about his relationship with his dad, who was a taskmaster, also his manager, and who then found himself at something of a loss when McEnroe said he wanted to move on to someone else. We hear, quite frankly, about addictions, about his troubled marriage to Tatum O'Neal, about his very public unravelling, and also, I have to say, about finding happiness with his wife, Patty, who's a musician. And we learn that one of the things that he wants more than anything is for somebody to say to him, I think you're a really good guitarist.
It's like people like Stephen King, all these very successful writers who really want to be rock stars. That's what he wants to be.
Kind of lovely. I mean, the film is very conscious of being a film. There's a lot of look at me visual contrivance. There's a soaring score by Felix White for the Maccabees, which really kind of ups the dramatic ante and sort of tells you it's a film, it's stuff, and it's in cinemas, and there's a reason for it to be in cinemas. Look at this stuff happening. It's very watchable. I think it makes a very strong fist of addressing the obsessive behaviour of McEnroe. I mean, it gets to the heart. At one point, it talks about him being a mathematician and how when all this stuff is going on, well, you said it's actually geometry, isn't it? That what he's doing is he's making split-second calculations about geometric possibilities and probabilities. And that, I think that description of him as a mathematician and somebody who is, is kind of absolutely obsessive in that detail, but almost completely unable to control his persona. You cannot be serious. Bear in mind, people of our age, I knew McEnroe from, not the 9 o'clock news sketches in which Griff Rhys-Jones would play him coming down to breakfast and he drinks some orange juice and his father goes, would you mind not slurping? He goes, the orange juice was not slurped. You cannot be serious. That was the joke. The whole thing was a gag. I'm not sure still that the doc actually gets right under the skin of what makes him tick. I mean, I have to say he still remains an enigma to me. And when you said you'd interviewed him, the first thing I said was, oh, what's he like? And I've just watched a 2-hour documentary about what he's like. But I still don't really know. But I think it's a very, very watchable doc. Also, from my point of view, I can never remember who won what game when. So every time they cut to one of those clips of the matches that we are told have been seen to death, I'm still going, I don't know how this plays out.
Well, it's like watching Dad's Army. You go, I haven't seen this one before.
That's right, yes.
Must be a new one.
What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. He has mastered the art. He's just instantly interesting and informative. That's why he's made the step into TV commentary so successfully.
Which he is apparently very brilliant.
He's absolutely fantastic at it. And I thought it was honest and painful in places. But in the interview, I actually referenced our conversation with Rowan Atkinson.
Right.
When a couple of weeks ago, he was telling us about being a perfectionist, but not in a good way, and actually how it's a condition that needs to be understood. And John McEnroe said he has learned to live with it and to back off.
Yeah. Didn't you think one of the saddest moments is when he says that thing about, here I was, the greatest player on the planet, or whatever the phrase is, and why wasn't I happy?
Because he was a perfectionist, and it can always be better. And I think that's what he's sort of come to a greater understanding and acceptance of what he managed to achieve, which he didn't perceive at the time.
And therefore, I think it is rather lovely that you do see him at something that approaches peace. And as far as the documentary says, I know nothing other than what I saw in the documentary. It appears to me that his relationship with his wife has been a massive part of that.
And Patti Smythe, his wife, says, I married a bad boy who became a good man.
Yeah, which is okay. Yeah, you just think what a lovely thing to say about somebody.
So McEnroe is worth seeing in the cinema. It'll probably turn up on a small screen at some stage.
Sure, but it is a cinematic production, self-consciously cinematic.